Hey, and we're off. Welcome this evening. It is Friday. We've reached the end of the week. And here you are on this channel Friday night, if you're watching live, of a Flawed Man of God. My name is Stuart Davis, Flawed Man of God. I'm a deacon at a small church just outside of Richmond, Virginia. I'm not a pastor. I'm not a biblical scholar. I haven't been to seminary. I'm not trying to get you to join my church or donate to any special cause. What I'm here to do is talk about God, talk about Jesus, talk about the Holy Spirit, talk about the Bible, talk about the Christianity, and on Friday nights, talk about a little bit of whatever. But I'm trying to talk about a wide variety of issues, my opinions on them through the lens of being a Christian all my life. 40 years non-denominational Protestant. I don't subscribe to any particular doctrine or denomination. I'm just in the Word daily, just trying to do it better each and every day. So, if you are somebody who is interested in learning more about Jesus, if you are curious about it, if you feel like something's missing in your life, or if something's nagging you in the back of your mind that there might be more to this existence than just your life here, welcome to the show. Hope you get some sort of insight from me, some sort of help, maybe from the chat as well. Maybe you get some impressions that are contrary to the stereotypes that exist out there for Christianity. It's not, the Bible is not a dull, drab book of judgment and rules. So there are rules in there. And church is not supposed to be a place where you go in to act hypocritically, look down on others, be self-righteous. It's not that place. All right. And hopefully, if you do find yourself trying a church out, you'll run into somebody like me. Um, Somebody with, I guess, a pretty good attitude about it. Um, and somebody who wants your relationship with Christ to grow, strengthen, and be successful. Uh, Heaven is as big as God wants it to be, and I want as many people to be there as possible. So that includes you. That includes everybody else in this chat, and even the folks who don't like me. But tis what it is. If you are already a Christian and you just like Christian discussion and being part of the chat, welcome. I encourage you, come into the chat regardless of whether you are a Christian or not. We have a great group of folks who tune in nightly and and often share their thoughts and feelings. And I'd like to see, I would like to see more. I'd like to see you in there. Give me your impressions. Give me your thoughts on whatever we're talking about. This is a chat-driven show. At the end of the day, you guys are just as much of a contributor to this show as I am. I'm just a mouthpiece. I'm just the host. I'm just here with the camera on me. You guys don't need to do that, but your thoughts and your words are welcome. We run it very similar to a Wednesday night study group or a Sunday school, and that's kind of why we've got these Fridays out there, because if you're in part of these groups, if you go to a Sunday school, if you go to a Wednesday night study group with any type of regularity, you learn that it's not the main purpose that you're there is for studying, it's for learning about God, it's for growing in your faith, and the folks are helping the folks around you do the same. But another thing that happens is that you get involved with the people around you, and you care about what they have to say, and you talk about things that are somewhat off topic. And so we do that to give ourselves a little break. Look, most people go to church, and they might go to a Wednesday night thing, and that's it. We're turning in for an hour, 3, 4, 5 times a night, 5 times a night. That's good. But it's also good to kind of sometimes step back and relax and remember that God created all the things around us, and we are supposed to enjoy life. So we can talk about other things. And that's what we're going to do tonight. And that's what we are going to do tonight. Anthony, how's it going, sir? Anthony has a Anthony is a friend of mine friend of mine for many years. Neo Rice and Carl is in the chat, my fellow Virginian Carl over there. And Neo, always great to have you, whether you're here as Neo or as your alter ego. So it's been an all right week. I mean, it's been good. Been busy. I've had my nose stuffed in paperwork most of the week. And when I haven't been doing that, I've been traveling for the most part. Been traveling around. A lot of times down on the peninsula, in the peninsulas, and a little bit up towards Northern Virginia. Putting those miles in, putting that work in, doing what I've got to do. So, oh no! Oh snap! Blaine's in here. It's been a pain in the bootay all week. Well, Blaine, it's just excuses from you. All I hear is excuses. Excuses why you weren't here. Excuses why you weren't streaming. Excuses get you nowhere, man. And I got a bone to pick with you, because when I was viewing your stream on Monday, I think it was Monday, and you were talking about the Steven Crowder stuff, getting that Steven Crowder stuff. You got me good, but as the meme goes, you had me in the first half. Now I've got you. So I was actually talking to my brother about the whole Steven Crowder thing a little bit, and this just goes down to this. If people can go out to make money, but if making money is the whole purpose behind it, you kind of lose the soul of what you're speaking of along the way. This is more when you're talking about political ideology, whether you agree with it or not, but when people are talking about political ideology, it goes beyond just the money side, right? There is supposed to be some measure of teamwork. Now, there's obviously no teamwork going on between those two factions, but I think it became very clear for me that it was, first and foremost, Ben Shapiro is concerned with money. And look, if that's his business model, that's fine. It kind of cheapens a lot of things he says. It's like, well, yeah, he's saying this because it's a good payday for him. And I'm sure he's getting paid well. Obviously not enough to buy platform shoes. Maybe he enjoys being short. Anthony, warms my heart to see that Robert Jordan book given such a prominent spot on your bookshelf. Yeah. There you go. I think this is one he wrote before Wheel of Time. This was like the precursor for it. Blaine said, every time I turn something else on, I have another thing to fix. I paid for a trailer, not a giant Gundam kit. It's definitely not a Gundam kit, because Gundam kits come with instructions. And I guarantee you that trailer did not come with assembly instructions. I hope that goes well for you, Blaine. Obviously, I know that's a big undertaking, a big dream of yours, and that the food truck thing is a massive success for you. Yeah, paid for a trailer. It's a food trailer. It's a food truck trailer. IDK. I'm not sure about it. Disagree with the narratives? I mean, I don't care about the narratives. It's a food trailer. Okay. Well, that changes everything. Now I don't support it. I only eat from food trucks. Who eats from a trailer? Oh, Federal Motor Carrier. Is it really? I mean, I'm sure Department of Transportation always has something to say about everything. I'm trying to think. Like, because passenger vehicles, like commercial passenger vehicles and commercial hazmat, they're definitely involved in. Do you need a CDL to drive a food truck? Yep. Okay. Yeah, that's right. It will break 10K pounds. Okay. What is it, like a pop-up trailer? Like a camper? That's an idea. Do camping food. Look, you can get your roasted marshmallows at the pop-up camp. I had to renew my driver's license. And Virginia has this new thing with that you have to bring in the real ID, and apparently that's going to be required. I'm assuming this is nationwide that these real IDs are going on because it's going to be required to get on domestic flights now, starting in May. So, but they were asking me to bring in all these documents, and I brought in all these documents, and they only wanted 2. And one of them was my existing license. So, whatever. I asked her, I was like, how much money do I owe the state? And she said, it'll be $42. I'm like, okay. And then she goes, oh, it's 58. Why is it 58 for you? She goes, and then she goes, oh, you got your motorcycle license? I go, yep. She goes, there it is. It's like, oh, great. There's absolutely zero reason I should have to pay more for my license just because I've got the M device on there. Let's see. Real ID requirements. You sure about that? Blaine? Yeah, it says, when did they push that back? When did they push that back? At least it's not South Carolina getting your motorcycle license. What's the big deal with getting your motorcycle license in South Carolina? The notice I got in the mail was that I was going to have it by. I was going to have it by May of this year. Oh man, we got a whole bunch of carrots. Yeah, this year wasn't. That's what I saw. That's what I thought, Carl. I don't know what the story is here. Shane's like, of course. Yeah, I've had this notice for like almost 2 months. I don't know what's the big deal about the real ID needing it? What's the justification? Maybe I'll say it on there. I'm on the Department of Homeland Defense. Are you planning to fly domestically or visit a federal facility? No, you might not need a real ID. Check on your state territory in the map below to visit your local DMV. Let's see what Virginia says. That just takes me there. What do they got for we're not doing this again. We already did this last Friday on your stream, Blaine. You have to take a test, and supposedly they're very cruel with it. The Virginia test, if you take it, the Virginia test, you can get a learner's permit for your motorcycle license very easily. Very easily. I bought my first motorcycle and drove off the lot with the learner's permit. I wasn't supposed to do that. But then, yeah, I took the license test. And if you're on a sport bike, which does not handle very well as motorcycles go, they don't maneuver tight corners. It's all about leaning into curves and everything. They do not handle very well. And thus, I just drove off. I messed up the thing. I said, see it. I just drove off. Then I went and got took the motorcycle courses, which are very fun. I recommend going through a motorcycle course to get your license, whether you want to ride a motorcycle or not, whether you want to get the license or not. It's just very fun. You ride like the one I did. We met at a Harley Davidson dealership, and then for our class or one night of class, and then we did a two days where we were on bikes in a parking lot. These little 200cc Honda, or I guess 200cc Honda Shadows and whatnot. And they give you these cones, and you're just dodging through it. It's very controlled. It's very low speed, and it's just a blast. If you've ever wanted to ride a motorcycle, but you're worried about being on the road, which is a legitimate issue, this is a great place to do it. They provide the motorcycles. You pay probably a couple $100. It was like $125 when I did it in 2004, and it's great. Back in 2004, however, you only had to worry about people talking on their cell phones and not paying attention. And what I learned after I bought my second motorcycle, when I got back home from overseas, was that texting came, and it's a whole new level of people not paying attention on the road. If you want to be upset with the state of society, ride a motorcycle on the interstate. Nobody cares about you. Nobody cares. And if you take the class, you can forego in Virginia, Neo. If you take the class, you don't have to worry about taking the test. You can just go to the DMV with the certificate. It's got the stamp and everything, and you pays your money, you get your new license, and you goes along your way. Yeah, Washington State Motorcycle Learners. Yeah, it's the same thing. Cycle test sucks. I think I could have probably done it if I was on like my old Vulcan 500, but not on a Gixxer 6, which is what I had at the time. Now you got to worry about the car AI not seeing you, or maybe it does see you. Terrorists can't real ID. Totally not gay. TSA. Right now, I don't ride anything. I have my first bike was a 2004 Gixxer 600. Then I got a 2007 Gixxer 1000, and then which I traded in the 6 for. I do drive a minivan underneath, actually. Got the 1000, then sold that. Bought my dad a Vulcan 500, which he drove a little bit. Didn't like driving a motorcycle. I got it for him because he was always talking about getting a motorcycle, but it's one of those things. You talk about it, but you're never actually going to get one. And so I had sold my Jeep and a lot of extra money, and I had a deal from an old boss of mine. And so I just bought it, drove it to his house, and be like, "Happy Tuesday, Dad." And so he got really excited, got the gear and everything, took the class, got a helmet that he liked. It was one of those flip-up helmets, and it was awesome. It was awesome. Look, I'm going to be joined by a longtime friend of mine. He was just in here a moment ago. He is completely and 100% activated, and this is my friend Almonds right here. How's it going?
Yeah, how's it going, Stu?
Hey, What's going on tonight? Right.
Not much, man. I was just watching old Nicky Rackett's interview Kyle, and he mentioned you stream around 8 o'clock, so that's when I contacted you in our super
Yeah.
private exclusive chat. I was just curious.
Yeah, that's uh that's the best chat. I was thinking about that today. Um the the level of laughter I've gotten out of that chat has been I've gotten so much mileage out of that. And it's funny because like everybody in there's got like a different like a different backstory. And I mean we got
Very
Canadians.
diverse.
We are a very diverse crew. Um we've even got Canadians in there. It's
Yeah,
disgusting.
yeah.
But
Unfortunately,
um Almonds and I we're both friends with another guy who comes on the show, Raph. He
oh,
comes
okay.
on occasionally. He hasn't been on in a while. He's busy with baby stuff. He's busy with baby stuff. So you must ask the guest the question. Oh yeah, this is easy. He probably even. Do you know who Sabaton is?
Yes, I've heard them quite often playing Hearts of Iron 4. I know they're a pretty pretty popular band. I was just listening to them earlier. They were in a Dragon Force play mix I put on, so I've been kind of
I
getting into them.
I'd never listened to him until you know until Nernath here in the chat was talking about him, and I was like, he goes, "Oh, you'd love him because I'm a big history buff." As you and I both a topic you and I both share. He said you wouldn't be interested, and so I pulled it up, and I think the first one was about the Red Baron or something like that, and I was like, "Oh, this is dope." And then I listened to it for the rest of the night. So,
It's some good stuff so far. Can't
so
complain.
what'd you think about the interview?
I'm right at the end of it. I thought it was pretty good. Of course, Kyle is very guarded. There were a couple obvious jokes where he was kind of freaking out a little bit.
Yeah, I think he. And look, I you gotta. I always have to remind myself, dude, this kid's like not even 21 yet, and most of that's the worst age to be. It's when we're at our. It's when we behave our worst. At least it was for me. And from 17 until today, he's been going through this ordeal, right? Only the trial was probably the scariest part, but he's certainly not out of it all the way.
Yeah, yeah. I think Nick did a pretty good job, kind of bringing him out of his shell a little bit. So
Yeah, it was definitely, yeah, he definitely was a little, he was very on guard at the beginning of the show. I mean, not sure if Kyle knew exactly what to expect out of it, but as things got going a little bit more, he was starting to read the chat. He was getting a little bit more comfortable. Things started to roll a little bit better. It would have been nice for us as the listeners if he was not if he was in a position where he could, call out some of the people and comment on some of the things that that people were interested in. But I get it. I get it.
yeah, I think it's important for him to be a little cautious, but I did think it was interesting Nick asking about conservative ink. And
Yeah.
I was kind of thinking the same thing when he was kind of getting paraded around a little bit, but
Oh,
yeah,
and I knew that was. I mean, I knew that was going to happen because that's. I mean, that's the money. He was a money maker for them at that point, and I think that might be one of the reasons why he's being cautious because his GoFund. Well, it's not GoFundMe. It's Give Send Go, but his fund his from people is being advertised by a lot of these folks, and if he burns any bridges, he could be ruining. He could be ruining a potential source of money that he needs for his legal battle.
well, yeah, no, things don't seem to be all peachy and conservative ink these days either with the Crowder Shapiro blow up or whatever is going on with there. I think I saw Crowder's video on it. I haven't seen any rebuttals so far.
Do you watch or listen to Crowder at all?
It's funny. I was in the mug club for like a whole year. I got the mug, and I don't think I listened to watch anything on the Blaze at the time, so I just kind of wasted my money on it. But I watch him now and then.
Yeah, I mean, I've caught a couple of change my minds. Just watch it like 15 minutes of it. It's funny for a little bit. It's just, and I just haven't sat down and listened to him because really, I listen to Rush Limbaugh for the longest time. That was like my go-to. And then when he got sick and everything, and I was traveling a little bit more on the road, and Nick was still streaming. I was like, I got to give my buddy a bit of a listen to and see what some of this is all about. And I listened to him. I mean, I was like, daggone it. He's got a 4-hour live stream that it wasn't live at the time, but I was picking up on it. I was like, what is, I was like, this will take my whole trip. And so I popped it in. And I think the one he was doing at the time, they were talking about, it was the cop who got, this cop that was trying to get the guy out of the traffic stop, and he got shot, and they caught it on camera, and and he was playing the audio because I was driving, I couldn't watch it, but you could see the guy screaming, and he knew he was dying, right? And that was like, I was like, man, I hate that sound, but it was just something he was going over. But I was like, Nick's got a pretty good gig going on. It wasn't just, when he dropped his first video in our chat, and he said, hey guys, look what I did on the Maddox thing. And we were all getting a bunch of laughs about it. And I was, and everything. I didn't know he was going to be able to make it into a thing. I thought he was just going to keep commenting as long as the lawsuit went.
Well, even before that, the eulogy of Tyler Jones, may he rest forever in peace.
We're coming up on an anniversary for that. When did that happen? Was that 2016? No, it was after
It was a while ago.
Trump, but I think it was like February of 2017, because I remember I was up in Philly visiting my brother. It was we had gone out, we had a party or something like that. We'd gone out, and I woke up in the morning and I checked the Dick Show Facebook group, and I'm like, what has happened? And because I had missed the whole thing because I was out bar crawling or something the whole time. I'm like, what did I miss? And then people were getting demodded. Feelings were hurt. The transvestite was brigading everybody, asking, like, there was a whole thing. And I wish.
Well, Tyler didn't help either because he started liking comments when he was supposed to be deceased. So,
so the backstory behind this, guys, is if any of you guys, I don't know, because I know a lot of y'all came over from Nick's stream. We all there's a group of us, and Nick is part of this group. We all kind of met through the Dick Show Facebook page because we all shit posted and just made fun of everybody. And I was a latecomer to the group because I guess I didn't pass muster at first, as
you had to be vetted.
I had to be vetted. And then and Almonds reached out to me, and he's talking to me about the military, and I thought he was like the 17-year-old kid getting ready to asking questions because he wanted to join, because it's the internet, right? I just figure everybody behind the screen is a teenager or some young 20-year-old guy. But we came in, we had this great group that we still have, a little bit smaller than it used to be, but we still have it. And there was a gag that went on, and we were going to have one of the guys in our group, Chief Shit Poster. He said somebody put a notice out that he had died shit posting on the Dick Show, and ran into, and did he run into a cement truck, or
No,
a cement truck ran into
laid
him?
him out. Yeah, the cement truck got him.
Yeah. And so we were all sad, but it was like like people thought it was serious, and none of us really thought it was going to be a serious thing. But as soon as we realized that people were taking it seriously, I say we, I was doing my thing, but everybody said, okay, let's keep running with this. And I mean, you could scroll back to the chat, everybody's having a good laugh about it. And then Tyler starts liking. He's like you said, he's supposed to be dead. He's liking all these posts. And then it's like this big scandal. It's this huge scandal. This is original internet drama. This is what creeps up. People took it so seriously. There were so many people butthurt over this, and it was just a joke. It was a joke over people who had never met this guy before, probably didn't really care about him. They certainly didn't like him after the fact. But because they wanted to have this, they had virtue signaled all this sympathy towards him, and then realized it was just for the lulz.
Hmm.
They oh man, it was such a thing. And I just came back. I was like, I came back and posted on there. I was like, I can't leave here for 2 days without this place turning into a total shit show.
A lot less of that going on these days.
Oh yeah. No, I got out of that group a while ago. It got really weird really fast. And it split into 2 pages at some point
Hmm.
at one point. It was very weird. But yeah,
More
Stephen
than that,
Bailey's.
because I started one, the Dick
Oh,
Army.
oh, that's what TDA had been there for a while. I love TDA. That was great.
Oh my gosh.
All right, so that's a lot of inside jokes, but um I don't know. We got off on that sidetrack because
Back when we had that kind of time.
yeah, yeah, that was 1.5 kids ago. So I think yeah, my daughter was still very young at that point. Very young. Um, and then at one point, Almonds came up and visited me as he was traveling through Virginia to go to Trump Winery back when
Yeah.
Trump
Yeah.
back when Trump was based. And and I gave him a small tour of the Civil War area that I grew up around, and that was pretty cool. Got to meet his wife and kids. They're all very great people. We had fun, and and
Yeah, it was a
okay,
good time.
yeah, always welcome back up. Always welcome back up.
Yeah, the Trump winery was actually pretty nice, pretty decent
You
stuff
met
there.
you met a celebrity while you were there
Yeah, we did.
because you weren't
Ran
at
in.
but you weren't at the Trump winery for this. You were at a
No, no,
different
no. We were
winery.
at some other winery, and I ran into James Comey.
That dude is huge.
Yeah, he is.
That
He's like
picture that
six
you sent,
something, 6'8". I don't know.
like you're not a short guy by any means. Um, that dude was like, look, yeah, he looked like he was a basketball player. Damn,
James Comey himself.
Neo, I haven't heard the term butt hurt in like 10 years. Well, I'm 40 years old, so it doesn't matter. I can use whatever boomer language I want to and get away with it. That's the
Is that
Neo. That's
Boomer
the.
now?
I mean, I guess if they haven't heard it in 10 years,
Wow.
10 years ago, the '90s, when we grew up. That's the benefit of being old as crap, Neo. I can use all these old slang terms and it's still cool to me. You got to come up with new stuff like uh, cap
For real, for real.
and and wear your hat, wear your hair like an idiot. What does it say? CMM is the only good thing he does. Oh, changed my mind. The rest is BoomerCon jokes, and takes that are 2 years behind the times. Well, welcome to conservative talk anything. You got to go to you got to go online to find anything that's really
I watched him a
new.
lot with Not Gay Jared, and then that whole thing happened, and then I think he had a some Swedish guy come on or something. Sven Computer. I don't know.
No, I mean I
A
don't
while
know
ago.
any of the lore behind it. I don't know not gay Jared and any of that stuff because a lot of people were referencing it and I was like, no idea.
Yeah, Neo knows Sven. Yeah, Sven Computer.
Sven.
I think he would literally just sit there and go beep bop boop boop beep. It's kind of funny.
Yeah. Pee pee poo poo.
The legacy.
So we have a football player, a professional football player, who is I caught recently. I heard it the other night during the playoffs. They were interviewing him. I think the 49ers had just beaten the Seahawks, and they were interviewing the quarterback of the 49ers after the game. And um, at the end of the interview, he gave a very pointed, not a cursory, but a very pointed "God bless" at the end of the end of the interview, and he walked off. And I was like, huh. You don't see that a whole lot. Usually it's the God bless, or it's kind of the the comment is made in passing. And so it popped up on, and because Facebook is listening to everything that we do and say,
Yeah.
they decided that I was interested in it. And so I caught a reel of him talking in some case about, and let me pull it up actually, because I thought it was very good. Um, talking about his faith. Now, mind you, oops, mind you, I said he is the quarterback of the San Francisco 49ers. All right. That's not a city that's well known for its conservative or Christian values. There it is. Let me pause it. All right, let me pause it and put it on mute and see if I can share it.
Got real boomer hours going on here.
Oh man, dude, it is amateur hour whenever I do this. Before I do that, let me close other stuff. There we go.
Nope.
Is it up? There it is. Quarterback Brock Purdy on his faith in Jesus. Now, this man was drafted, the last man in the draft. They call them Mr. Irrelevant. Let me see if it'll. Let me know if y'all hear it or not.
Living to be set apart. It's easy to, yes, repent of your sins and be about Jesus, but to know, hey, I can't keep doing this sin. I've acknowledged it. I got to move on, but to be on fire for the Lord and to walk with Him, I think right now, man, I'm all about, hey, I'm living set apart from the world. People can think this about me or whatever. That's fine. The bottom line is for me, my identity is in Jesus. I get that, and I'm gonna roll with that. But it's not, hey, I'm better than you. No, it's I'm called to do this. I'm called to witness. I'm called to share the word. I have this knowledge, of the Spirit, and I want to give it to as many people as I can. So, yeah, that's I think what God has taught me in the past year. I'd say I'm continuing to grow in that, and man, I just wanna be able to witness and defend the Christian faith as best as I can moving forward. So.
TikTok sucks, by the way.
The Chinese are onto you now.
Oh man, and I mean that's not some deep philosophical take that you're gonna hear on, from the pulpit or anything, and it's not some, theology bro on Twitter or Facebook, telling everybody the ins and outs of what the church fathers wanted. But it came across as a very honest take on his faith, and it was something bold comment from this man, considering the city that he plays in on a regular basis. I'm sure they're not very happy about that, and maybe that's why more people are watching that.
Possibly. My first thought is, watch yourself, don't get T-bowed. Apparently, it's
It's a thing. I mean, but I think the story behind him is, I mean, I guess he's a more unassuming guy. I mean, like I said, he wasn't flashy quarterback, didn't win any Heisman trophies, or it wasn't a top draft pick. Like he was kind of a picked up on the fly. He falls into place when the two other quarterbacks in San Francisco get hurt, and all of a sudden he wins every game for the rest of the season. And I think it's been 7 games, and 2 of those were in playoffs. And so, hey, if you're winning, people care. If he wins Sunday, he's going to the Super Bowl.
yeah, it's gonna be pretty. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. My Dolphins got rejected, unfortunately. I'll
concussed.
still give it a watch. I'm not sure who I'm rooting for at this point, though. I'm
If I
just glad the
find out
Bills lost.
that Tebow actually gets a slot and has Brock Purdy in it in an anti-abortion ad, I'm going to watch it for the commercials. So it's a long way since Colin Kaepernick has been in the city of San Francisco, which was one of the reasons I really don't watch football as much as professional football as much as I do now.
I only really started watching it again this season because that's what's on the TV at the workplace a lot. So
Yeah.
no other real reason. I thought the Dolphins had a pretty good shot with Tua finally with this coach, but he's kind of made of glass. So if I look at him, he might have a concussion. So I try not to.
They're going to need I think they're going to need to come up with at least a backup plan, or if not, make two of the backup plan. But they've got a solid team other than that. But you
Yeah, I
gotta
mean, he's
have a
got great
quarterback.
receivers. He really does. On a serious note, probably need to take another look at what he's doing if he's getting this many concussions because he only got one brain, man.
Yeah, and he wouldn't be the first to call it quits over that. So,
No.
and he wouldn't be the first quarterback who got beat up so much that he just decided I've had enough.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. It's gonna be an interesting Super Bowl, I think. Regardless, I might watch it.
I'll be interested. I'm kind of like you. I'm kind of ambivalent. If it seems like it's compelling enough, I'll tune in.
I might start watching hockey.
Dude. Okay, so I was telling when you were asking me about why I wasn't streaming at 8. I was like, look, it's family movie night. All depends on how fast I can corral the kids together, kids and the wife, can corral them together and pick a movie and how long the movie lasts. Tonight we did The Mighty Ducks.
Classic.
Man, it's interesting. I didn't realize I went to go see as many movies as a kid as I did once I started doing these movies with the kids. I'm like, oh yeah, I went to go see this movie. Oh yeah, I saw this movie in the theaters. Oh yeah, I saw this. Mighty Ducks was no different, and so I popped it in. I thought my son might be into it because he loves soccer. Hockey's not all that different. He plays goalie. That's a big position in hockey too. But my daughter surprisingly was just as into it, and they loved it. They loved it to death, and so I was like, oh. Hockey is fun to watch. I enjoy going to watch hockey, and you've got hockey in your state.
Yeah, I got the Bolts not too far away over there in Tampa.
Yeah, that's and they're good. That's a good team. So I mean, it's good that you've got some exciting hockey to watch as opposed to watching other teams come in and just beat the brakes off the home team.
Yeah, they do pretty well. I hear going there is a good time. I might have to catch a game one of these days live.
The Panthers are a pretty decent team too. This hockey in the South is no joke. I mean, the Lightning are good. The Panthers are good. The Carolina Hurricanes are good. I'm trying to think. That might be all of the.
I
That
don't
might
even
be
know.
all of a Southern. I guess. Oh, Dallas Stars. I mean, if you want to consider that, even though Texas is kind of its own thing, they're really good. And maybe Nashville. The Predators are kind of on the. They're kind of not all that good this year. I don't think. So
I don't know. Florida seems like a powerhouse with sports in general lately. So sort of.
Except for football.
Hey, the Jags went pretty far.
Oh, that's right. I totally forgot about them. They are going to be good. Lawrence, I think, is going to be. I think he's going to be something special once he gets somebody to throw to. He kept throwing it to the same guy over and over and over. Watching that game,
And I think all three of them made the playoffs, technically speaking. So we'll see where Brady ends up, though.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about Tampa Bay too. Wow. Yeah. Dang. Maybe all. You're right. All three teams were there. It's amazing. I mean, most of us joke about Florida being a state where nobody's really a fan of anything. Like all their teams, like if you go to a Marlins game, there's like 3 people there. Tampa
I
Bay,
wouldn't count them. Yeah,
that's you know,
the Rays though.
the Rays. Look, I'm a Reds fan. The Rays are notorious for not spending any money on their team, and they're good. The Reds are notorious for not spending any money on their team, and they suck. So I'm kind of jealous about that. I'd love to come down there and watch some spring training baseball at some point. I've got family that lives in West Palm Beach, and that's pretty close to, I think, where the Marlins do their spring training. I think is what I was telling what they were telling me.
I know the Astros are somewhere in Central Florida, or at least they were when I was growing up. But I think they were over in Kissimmee. I don't know if they moved or anything.
Yeah,
They're around.
yeah. I don't know. I don't know enough about it. My wife's been to spring training when she was a kid, and I've actually never done it. As much as I'm a baseball fan.
I didn't even know that was really a thing. Just go and watch them train.
You get it's an opportunity to kind of see the players a little bit more up close and personal. You can generally get closer to them to get autographs and stuff like that. It's kind of a cool. The weather's always nice. None of those games ever rain out, and everything's kind of relaxed there. It's not super expensive. At least that's the way it's always been described to me. I've never looked into it. So,
come on down, bro.
oh man, Florida's an enticing place to go live. If I didn't have, I imagine that's one of the places I would be very interested in if I didn't have as many roots into Virginia as I have just to move permanently. I love the beach.
Good beaches. Politics is probably more up your alley.
Yeah, it's not as I feel like Virginia is now Chicago or Illinois. Illinois is mostly red. You've got like 2 spots that are blue, and one of them is Chicago, and it always goes their way. In Virginia, Virginia is almost exclusively red, except for Richmond and Norfolk and Northern Virginia.
Are all those statues gone on Monument Row or whatever?
So they took out the last statue, and here's the interesting part of the last statue. Last statue was A.P. Hill, right? And he was buried under that statue.
Oh, so now they're messing
And
with a gravesite?
yeah, which is why he was able to resist it so long, because it was a legitimate gravesite, and they dug him up.
Jeez.
They dug him up, and they didn't let whatever your opinions on the statue are, they didn't even offer it, or they didn't even allow the family to take the statue. They just disposed of it. So it was Richmond's a good place to go eat, but there's so many other places you can go without seeing it. There's so many other battlefields. If you're going for the history, you can go to Charleston and still catch the same antebellum South aristocratic Southern, appeal. You can go to Savannah and get it. Richmond's not the only place, and those places are arguably better and prettier. And Richmond, unfortunately, they had the monuments, they had the Capitol. We have the Capitol there, so there is some historical draw. But now you've basically cut a big part of tourism. They don't want to admit it. A lot of people come to Richmond because for Civil War history. When you've moved a big draw, let's just get rid of the Washington Monument in D.C. That's just one less reason for people to go to D.C.
I mean, that's kind of why I drove through there. I think I was going to meet you, or it might have been tied to that or something. I know I did go up there to see.
I think you had to, based off of where I was in relationship to where you were going, because you got to cut, because I'm on the east end and the wineries are west. So I'm pretty sure you had to cut kind of right through there. And That was 2018. So yeah, the statues were still up, and
Yeah.
there was really, I mean, people would come. There was always the mention of the complaints and everything, but it never amounted to anything. Nothing was ever going to happen. A lot of people who lived there, thought that it was kind of a status symbol to live on Monument Avenue, though houses are incredibly expensive. But it was part of the scenery, is that those monuments were there.
Yeah, I mean, at the bare minimum, they look like pretty cool pieces of art.
Yeah, I mean, Lee was way up there. Jeb Stewart was way up there as well. Like, some of these monuments were huge. Like, if any of y'all have been to Gettysburg, I mean, they've got some large statues up there, but this was bigger than. I mean, these statues were bigger than any of those. But
They were huge.
huge. And then 2020 happened, and all the insanity happened, and the graffiti. I mean, say whatever side you want to be on in this debate. It doesn't make your side look very good if you're claiming to be the good guys, and the graffiti that you're spraying around is the most degenerate or tacky or lewd or just off-putting things. Sorry, my phone was going off. I needed to find out. I was wondering what that was all about. Hold on.
Yeah, Carl. I think I've only driven through Jacksonville. I don't think I've ever visited up there.
NAS, is that NASA?
I
Or
think it's a naval air station.
Naval Air Station, that's right. I finally put that together. I was staring at that comment, and I was trying to think, did he cut off NASA? I'd like to go to Pensacola. I think that they've got a decent air show down there.
They got a lot of pretty good air shows around these parts.
Yeah. All right. I got some kids that won't settle down, and then they're going to cause me to have to end my stream prematurely, and so they're going to pay the price for that. So, all right, guys. Well, I'm going to cut this short. Sorry we didn't get all that much in there. I am going to be probably streaming with Blaine on Blaine's Escape Corner. He sent me a link to that, and Almonds, my buddy. Thank you for popping on. I'm glad you did. I'd love to have you on. I'd love to have you on more. So whenever you want to, open invitation, man. Just say, hey, let me on. I got something I want to say.
Sure, sounds good, buddy.
All right, man. All right, guys. You everybody have a good night. I'll catch you all on Monday. As always, be safe out there. Want to see you guys all back when we get back streaming Monday night at 8:00, like I advertised. And you all have a great evening. Good night, and God bless.